Hello and welcome to the special broadcast here on India Today. I'm Chandrayaan-3 and we're counting down to India's latest moon mission, the third moon mission. In less than 90 minutes from now, Chandrayaan-3 will take flight from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. It's a dream come true for so many of us. All our eyes will be to the skies as the 3,900 kilogram spacecraft is scheduled to launch at 2:35 p.m. That's the exact time that ISRO has given out. This marks the fourth operational flight of LVM-3 with the objective of launching Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft into the geotransfer orbit. Now remember, the Chandrayaan-3 will attempt a soft landing on the moon, marking the second endeavour after Chandrayaan-2 mission 4 years ago. So for 4 years now, ISRO scientists have been working on correcting the wrongs of Chandrayaan-2 in Chandrayaan-3. The journey is estimated to take approximately 45 to 48 days. According to ISRO, it could reach the south pole of the moon around August 23rd or 24th, and that's when the real test will begin. But nonetheless, we're excited. We're looking forward to that moment of the launch, which starts at 2:35 p.m. The countdown has officially begun on the ground. Let's get you all the reactions.
आपको खुशी होगी अभी जब मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं तो भारत में चंद्रयान-3 की चंद्रयान-3 की लॉन्चिंग के लिए रिवर्स काउंटिंग की गूंज सुनाई दे रही है। कुछ ही घंटों बाद भारत के श्रीहरिकोटा से ये ऐतिहासिक लॉन्च होने जा रहा है।
Chandrayaan-3 will start its journey after the launch tomorrow. So it will reach around Earth. Then it will travel towards Moon slowly over the next 1 month. Then we are hoping that everything is all right. Then it will reach and land on the Moon on August 23rd onwards, any day. So I need the blessing of Chandrayaan Devi. So I came here for praying and seeking blessings for the success of this mission.
Let's get you all the action from the ground. If we're excited, imagine the mood on ground at Sriharikota. Nagarjun is joining us live right now from Sriharikota, from the Sri Satish Dhawan Launch Center, which is where, in fact, all preps have been made. Nagarjun, good afternoon. What's the mood like on ground? Have you got a good view also of the launch?
Well, good afternoon, Akshita. A big day for all of us. The mood is quite upbeat here in the ISRO. They're all smiles, the body language, talks, volumes. In fact, they're quite upbeat. Not just the scientists, but also the PR section, which interacts with the media. They're also quite positive. Yesterday, they visited the Tirupati temple and prayed. And not just that, the Prime Minister also has tweeted about the same, wishing them good luck. On social media also, congratulations and good luck is pouring in. Behind me is the press media center where I am right now. You can see in the mission control center all the scientists lined up, and also let me show the clock to you, which is doing the reverse counting. As of now, you have 1 hour 23 minutes to go before the launch at the center in Sriharikota. This is the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, and if I can ask my camera person to show you the screen, you can see the rockets already in place. 2:35 9 seconds is when exactly it will do the lift off, and the first 16 minutes is quite crucial. That is when the separation will happen. First will be the solid payload, that is the solid fuel, that is the S200 propellant, that will be the one separating, and then the liquid 110 propellant, that will be the one separating in the next stage. And then the main cap, in layman terms, that what we can say is the dome of the rocket that we see with the Indian flag, that will be the separation in the third part. And post that, the whole payload with the rover, with the propulsion module and the lunar module will separate itself and then do the elliptical orbit around the Earth for 17 days or 16 days and then go towards the lunar surface. It will do the translunar orbit from Earth to Moon. That orbit that is a quite crucial part, and then it orbits around the Moon and then slowly comes down and then does a soft landing almost in a similar spot that we did last time. Last time was some glitches between the software and the hardware, but that has been rectified is what we are told. In fact, even we have increased the suspension strength in layman terms, if I can explain. If the lander was landing at 2 meters per second, it could take the impact. Now it has been increased to 3 meters per second, which can take a higher impact is what we are told. So any glitches also that was done, that had seen last time has been rectified this time. The mood is quite upbeat in the ISRO here, and the scientists are all saying that this time things might not go wrong. So fingers crossed for them as well. An hour back, all the rockets that we are seeing, they're all been fueled up completely, and it's set to go. Any moment we'll start hearing the announcement and the commands here. Almost 1 hour 21 minutes to go before the launch. Akshita.
Keep that frame on, Nagarjun. We're going to want to track the time very, very closely behind you. As Nagarjun reports there, just about 1 hour, 20 minutes to go. Today is going to be relatively easy for ISRO because they're experts in a sense at takeoff. And that's something we've seen countless number of times with ISRO being banked upon by several other space agencies, by private groups as well, to launch their satellites into space. The hard part is going to come in roughly about 40 days from now when Chandrayaan-3 reaches the south pole of the moon. And that's where they'll want to correct the wrongs of Chandrayaan-2 and ensure the soft landing is successful and it's not a crash landing. There's been a lot of course correction. The last 4 years has been spent on doing that. I had a conversation earlier with former ISRO scientist Nambi Narayanan. Take a look at that conversation. He tells us his emotions, what he's feeling as we count down to the launch. So you've been a part of this amazing journey of India's space reform. So I'm sure you must be particularly proud, particularly excited and a bit nervous about the launch today, sir.
Actually, I am not nervous today.
Okay.
Maybe I may become a little tensed up on the 23rd of August or 24th of August. When you are really landing or try to land on the moon. Because today, honestly, you know, it is nothing but a GSLV launch, so which we are used to, and so, you know, so real tension will come only on the August 23rd when you are trying to land on the moon. But it was naturally, you know, this is leading to that, so to that extent you can be little tensed up.
But how proud are you, sir? How proud are you that we've reached this moment where we're talking about a soft landing on the moon?
Yeah, really, it is not only me. Everybody is proud. I am surprised, or I am happy to note that the entire nation is now anxious to know the result of this. And everybody, particularly the children, they are all glued to the television. And everybody is talking about Chandrayaan-3, and very interesting. It only shows the kind of confidence which the people have in ISRO. And well, it is our own, ISRO's own speciality. They may fail at times, but they immediately bounce back.
Very true.
After analyzing the reasons for the failure and correcting it. I have seen this many times in my... I don't know whether it is appropriate, but let me tell you, when I was doing the full-scale flight version of the Vikas engine, we had a failure. The whole thing stopped at 53 seconds for no well-explainable reason. We were upset. I was upset. I was 100% sure that this will go successful. But then it happened. So how we solved the problem and how we went through that mill, even it really, you know, makes me happy. And we solved it in 2.5 days. We solved the problem in 2.5 days. Here we have an example of Chandrayaan-2. And as ISRO Chairman was telling, it is a failure-based analysis. It is a failure-based corrections. So we failed And from the failure, we learned something. From the learnings, we corrected something. And from the corrections, we are going with confidence for this Chandrayaan-3. That's, again, as usual, we will succeed. Generally, we will succeed in this matter.
Okay, so that was Mr. Nambi Narayanan speaking to us here on India Today, saying that he'll be a bit nervous in about 40 days from now, but says that yes, we ensured that whatever issues, glitches were there in Chandrayaan-2 with regards to also the technical problems, the software issue, all of that has been addressed in the last 4 years in the building of the Chandrayaan-3 mission. As we count down to the launch, which is, again, let me remind you, at 2:35 this afternoon, I'd like to open up this broadcast and introduce our guests as well who are joining us now. Mr. B.K. Tyagi, former Principal Scientific Officer of Vigyan Prasar. We have also Arvind Paranjape, Director of Nehru Planetarium, joining us from Mumbai. Good afternoon to both of you, gentlemen. I'm sure you both are looking forward to the launch at 2:35 as much as I am and as much as the whole country is right now. Do you agree, first to you, Mr. Tyagi, with Mr. Nambi Narayanan, that perhaps the real test comes in about 40 days from now?
Of course, because I think we have proven our technology of GSLV, and I think this is the fourth launch, which will be, establishing our this propulsion module into the orbit of the Earth, from where it will be shifted to the orbit of Moon. So up to here, our technology is foolproof. There is nothing to have any nervousness, or I think it will be 100% success. I'm sure that. But yes, when after those we are into the Moon's orbit and the landing part. So our lander should land softly on the surface of the Moon, and the rover should come out. Once it is done, I think the entire mission is successful. So we are waiting for that moment. And yes, we have learned a lot from our earlier so-called, I don't call it a failure, because all the failures, it's always a learning experience. And whatever we have learned, those things have been rectified. And the plan for this Chandrayaan-3 is foolproof, especially for there is a change in the design of lander as well as the rover. So whatever the mistake or you can say the limiting things which were there, so those hardware and software issues has been rectified.
Okay.
And everything has been reconstructed and tested, which found to be 100% foolproof. So we are waiting to that moment. And yes, that nervousness will be there till the time the mission is successful.
Well, I've got my fingers crossed. I don't want to jinx it by taking anything for granted right now. But yes, all the experts, including you, Mr. Tyagi, believe that we've got this one in the bag. At least today's launch should be a smooth one. 40 days from now, when we inch closer to the south pole of the Moon, we will know whether we've managed to really correct the wrongs of Chandrayaan-2. And going by really the message that we're getting from all of the ISRO scientists, from the ISRO chief who worked so hard on putting this mission together, they seem confident that they've learned all the right lessons from what happened with Chandrayaan-2. Let me bring in Mr. Arvind Paranjape also on this. Sir, what do you make of the Chandrayaan-3? There's so much talk of this, and as a nation, we've all gotten so excited whenever there's such a mission announced by ISRO. It's really something that binds the nation together, our curiosity, our interest, and also our passion essentially for space. How is Chandrayaan-3 essentially a game changer for India's space reforms? Mr. Paranjape, can you hear me?
Me? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Go ahead. We'll just try to fix that. I don't think we have Mr. Paranjape's frame on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, you said that in what way it's a game changer. Since morning I've been listening to you and other channels, and it sort of take me back to something like 30 years when I was a kid, And when I heard this Apollo mission taking place, and then people landing on the moon, first, of course, orbiting the moon, etc., etc. So what I feel at this point in time is that, of course, we are all excited, all elderly people excited, but then we are also passing this excitement at the planetarium to our younger generation, the school students who have come to the planetarium, and tell them that, look, what's a great achievement that India would have it. And we should also remember that we are just out of so many nations. We are going to be the fourth nation in the world who will be landing on the surface of the moon, our nearest neighbor. And not only that, that when we successfully land on the southern part of the moon, we'll be the first nation to do so. So it's a very exciting time for all of us. And we are, and as many of other people have said, I think even though people do show a little bit of hesitation in saying that 100%, but I think we are very confident that this time we will reach the surface. Vikram would certainly land at the given place wherever it was asked to land, and we have seen from ISRO's website and ISRO's information that the lander has been made autonomous. Lander can take its own decision, and I would just like to add to it a little bit, and that is that distance between Earth and the moon is something like 1.2 light seconds. That is that if you want to send an message to the moon, or you want to receive and send it, about 2.5 seconds would go away, and that's a very, very long period of time. So this lander has been made autonomous. That lander can take its own decision where and what corrections that lander should take, and that has made it has been a very big technological challenge. And let us hope, or rather we can say that in another 6 weeks time when we meet again, we'll be very happy and we'll be joyous about our successful landing on the surface of the moon. Excuse me, I think this is...
Mr. Paranjape, I'll just come back to you, and I request all of our panelists to stay on with us. Let's take a look at this next report, where we tell you all that you need to know about the Chandrayaan-3 mission.
India is waiting for a great moment as Indian Space Research Organization is all set to launch Chandrayaan-3. Behind us is a model of the rocket GSLV Mk2, and the LV-M3 will resemble this model only. And on either side of this rocket, the columns you see, those are S200 solid state boosters, and in the center part where it is written GSLV, that is the liquid stage, and on top of it we will have the cryogenic engine C25. Over that particular pod with the Indian national flag, that is a heat shield which will be carrying Chandrayaan-3. This is a module which will have a propulsion module, a lander module, and the rover.
The launch vehicle will first orbit Earth before entering moon orbit. At the final lunar 100-kilometer circular polar orbit, the propulsion module carrying the launch module with the lander and rover will be launched through vehicle injection. Then the separation of the launch module from the propulsion module will take place. The propulsion module this time also has one scientific payload as a value addition. It will become operational post-separation of the lander module. The propulsion module, equipped with spectropolarimetry of habitable planet Earth or SHAPE, will then work for future discoveries of smaller planets in reflected light. It would also allow scientists to probe into a variety of exoplanets which would qualify for habitability or for presence of life. The lander module in the meantime will orbit closer to the lunar south pole.
The main aspect of this this mission is to do a soft landing in the on the lunar surface, and this is the second attempt of ISRO. Here also ISRO has made it very clear that this time they are going for a failure-based model. They are calling this a failure-based model because whatever information that was gathered from Chandrayaan-2 has been incorporated to it. The issues with Chandrayaan-2 was called as error accumulation, which led to crash landing. It is not a failure. So all the lander module has to do is take a picture, compare it with the data that has been fed already into it, and it has only do final corrections to avoid any object that is 30 centimeters or bigger for a soft landing. ISRO claims that as all other parameters have been successful, it is only going for a soft landing, post which releasing the rover on the lunar surface.
Soft landing of the lander happens when it lands intact on the lunar surface that prevents damage to the spacecraft. This will ensure survivability of instruments on board the spacecraft. This has so far been successfully achieved by only 3 other countries: USA, Russia and China.
And the very important aspect is that ISRO this time has given the lander a lot of space of deciding on its own, because the Chandrayaan-2 was designed to only land in an area 500 meters into 500 meters. But right now it has been extended to 4.5 kilometers to 2.5 kilometers. In that area, the lander can land. So all these parameters have been set. The main aspect of Chandrayaan-3 is for a soft landing on the moon's surface, because every other parameters ISRO has succeeded.
After successful landing at the South Pole, the lander will release the rover. During this mission, the rover will make qualitative and quantitative elemental analysis to derive the chemical composition, infer mineralogical composition of the South Pole lunar surface. This is critical for mineral and chemical finding as well as for future manned moon mission Gaganyaan of ISRO. Chandrayaan-3 is all set to ensure that this sky is not our limitation. The mystery of the universe awaits beyond this for exploration.